Hi everybody, Rusty Albertson, Director of Communications here at St. Mark the Evangelist Catholic Church. Joined by my good friend Steve Helmich.
Rusty, always good to be with you.
How are you?
Good. I'm sorry I slowed you down a little bit.
No, you're fine.
Slowed you down a little bit.
Yeah. We are here today. Steve, as you know, heads up and is one of the initiators and leaders of our MMA, our maturing ministry for maturing adults here at St. Mark. What an important ministry. We all knew that was going to be, and it's proven to be. So we just want to kind of let you have the floor a little bit, talk about maybe some things we've done in the past recently, some things coming up, and just kind of spread the good news.
Well, thanks for being here. It's always wonderful to do this. Thank you for all you do and have done for this parish. It takes a lot of folks to make this this behemoth work, and we're lucky to have a lot of great people. One of the things we did most recently, we had a workshop, and a wonderful facilitator, his name is Richard Smith, came to St. Mark, and we had folks in the newly renovated Schaefer Hall.
Awesome.
What a great new space that is. Yeah. For folks, especially those of us who are older, and you start to think a little bit about how well you hear or don't hear, it is a tremendous place.
State of the art.
State of the art.
Yeah.
The seats are comfortable. It's easy to move around. Access is easy. And again, with all the attempts that were made very successfully to help sound in the room with the ceiling, it was wonderful. This was a workshop on aging, and all of us are aging. I think that some of us who are in our last quarter of life feel we're aging a little more quickly than maybe we did earlier in life. But Richard did a wonderful job in this workshop. It was mid-afternoon on a Thursday, so people could get there in the daylight. They felt comfortable driving, and he just led them through a wonderful, very thoughtful exercise, a process of thinking about where am I today, what would I like the future to look like. I want it to be as good as it can be. I don't want it to be less than. And he did a wonderful job with that. So that's one that will...
well attended?
Well attended.
Good.
Full capacity.
Awesome.
We could not have had more people in the group.
Right.
This is one that we'll offer multiple times going forward. If I
could, I know people sometimes, maybe the first time they've even heard about this ministry, where do they go to find upcoming events? Bulletin,
well,
website?
the bulletins that I think the quickest and easiest way, because there is always the most current programmatic information, service information, and always a contact name, telephone number, and email address. So that, I think, is the easiest way for our maturing adults to get connected, and just call. Just contact me.
And your email or something is probably in there somewhere.
My email is always in there, and my text and cell phone number, and they can easily track me down. Yeah.
Awesome. What do we have coming up?
Well, it's one of the really fun events for the year. It's our Christmas luncheon, and this year it's on Friday, December 15th. We'll kick off at 11:30. We are so excited. I don't know how many events have been in the new parish center.
Not too many yet.
But we're going to be in the new parish center.
Awesome.
And it's just a wonderful time. The food is great. Hunger Inc. will benefit from our event this year. People can bring canned goods, but also personal care products to support Hunger Care, which serves this geographic area that St. Mark serves.
Right over on Epler Avenue. I know we use them in the canned food drive as well. It's just a wonderful group.
Wonderful organization, and you feel really confident that everything that you do is going to get really directed to the people. Absolutely. We have, again, it's always good food. And then this year we have the Southside Jazzers as one of our musical groups. Some of you would know Steve Campbell from our parish. Very accomplished musician, and he's put together a small group, and this group calls themselves the Southside Jazzers, and they're going to perform as people arrive and as we have our lunch and early into the program. And then we're going to, of course, have the choir from St. Mark Catholic School come over and sing some Christmas carols.
It's always good to hear the little kids sing.
Oh my gosh. If you want to see some eyes brighten up, look at some of our more senior folks. Seeing young people, some of them don't get to see young people. Their kids and grandkids are on the coast.
And too, some of our kids don't get to see grandparents.
Absolutely. And so it's just a very joyful time. It's in the middle of the day, so again, people can feel comfortable driving and get here. And they will be registering folks really the next 2 weekends, the second and the third, and then the following weekend. It's $15, which includes everything, and we're hopeful that we can fill the new parish.
Register probably in the narthex?
It's going to be outside in the narthex, yeah. There'll be people from MMA there registering and taking people's checks and cash.
Sure.
And so we hope we have a room full because it's just a great day. It's one of those really wonderful times of coming together and no big agenda, just enjoying good food, good music, and good people.
Yeah, and to put my buildings and grounds hat on, just in time, we just got a handicap accessible part of our sidewalk in. I don't know if you saw when you came in, but it looks great. So anybody that needs that can come right into the parish center right off that.
Yeah. Well, I found that every place we need to get anymore, I'm still moving around pretty well, but I have my bumps and my bruises like everyone else. But I found access is wonderful. What a tremendous improvement to see what's taken place in Schaefer Hall.
Absolutely.
And now to
the ramp. I don't think that enough people understand how important that was to a certain group, and not just the older people, the people who have physical limitations. How important, and I'll be honest with you, as a building and grounds director, how important it is to me just moving things back and forth.
Well, Rusty, there were times where people would say, I'll see you next spring.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why will I see you next spring? Well, because I'm going to go to another parish over the winter because the ramp was too steep or the railings were frozen and they didn't feel icy. And I haven't had anyone tell me that yet.
So, we're
so
blessed,
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We're blessed.
Yeah.
We are absolutely blessed.
So the Christmas dinner, are they supposed to, or the luncheon, are they supposed to bring anything canned? You said canned foods?
Canned foods or personal goods. No, we're not doing toys this year.
Okay.
They said there really was a need and a bit of an urgency for food and personal care products, which suggests to me that there are people in real need. Right. And even though presents and gifts for the kids are fun, to take care of those most basic needs, I think is...
And I would also say if someone forgets and they want to write a check for donation, they'd probably take that too.
I'm sure they would, yeah. I haven't had much contact with Hungry Inc., but the people who have been working on this program have, and they said they're just incredible.
They're a great group. I've worked with them for several years.
Yeah, just great.
And what I've always been blessed is that people, you go downtown to the food kitchen, obviously at the cathedral, and you have this here, and there's a lot more of them popping up. And it's such a great need, so we're blessed to be able to do that. So after the Christmas and the Advent season, what do you got some things coming up in the future?
Well, we do, and one of the things I'd like to mention is that to make all of this work for our ministry for maturing adults, we need volunteers.
Sure.
And in the beginning, back to 2019, when this ministry kicked off, we had a group of about 25 people, and they met frequently. And when you would then look at an event or an activity, those same people were there putting it in place. Well, we're getting older, and things change, and perhaps we've lost a spouse, or perhaps we've had a medical issue.
Right.
So that core group is still there, and they're very, very hands-on in terms of planning and sort of thinking about what the needs are.
Right.
But what we're finding is that we need some other volunteers who are willing to come in periodically. It's not a full-time volunteer commitment like some others are, but you would let us know, what are you interested in? Oh, I'd like to do some social activities, or if there are some trips that you're coming up, or my real focus is on prayer and I'd like to be supportive of workshops on prayer. Let us know the things that you're interested in and the times that you're available, and we're putting together a roster of what we call FOMA, Friends of MMA, and we're hopeful that we can then grow this base of volunteers so that we don't have to sort of reduce the number of programs and activities that we have going. We want to expand them. I guarantee you, every time we pick up the telephone and talk to a senior parishioner, we almost always have some inkling of another need that might exist at our parish. And so I think FOMA is a real critical piece. I hope people will listen. Gemma Wallace, who is one of the core members of this group, is the coordinator for FOMA. Her information is going to be constantly in the bulletin, telephone number and email and so on. And again, it's very targeted. It's when you want to do it, and it's the kind of program that you want to get involved in.
And I know you and I have talked in the past. We've had some separate things come up where an elder parishioner in the parish needs help doing some things.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be an MMA-aged person.
No.
It can be someone who is a retired grandfather who has high school grandkids that wants to bring them to rake leaves or to help someone winterize something or whatever. So I think it's a really neat a way of the parish, you guys helping with this, organizing the great talent of volunteers we have in this church if they were just asked or knew about it.
And almost always, if people here at this parish know the need and they are asked appropriately, they say yes. They say yes. And so it's just a matter of us doing a good job of telling people we need some help. You're interested, great, you're interested. Tell me sort of times of day, days of week that you'd like to get involved and the kinds of things that you're most interested in. And you make a really good point. Oftentimes this is a great way to bring younger people and more senior people together. I had someone, this is a lady that you know because you had some young men help her move a hospital bed. And she said that was the first time that I've really interacted with some young people in a long, long time.
And some of them I think were members of our Burmese community.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know that all of the members of our parish are so, just like you said, if you go and you intentionally ask them, can we help? And we obviously know people have schedules and they can't always do certain things, but the willingness that's in their heart and the intentionality is just great in this parish for that.
Well, and as you think about our parish today, it's growing, it's vibrant, and we now, for the first time in all my years here at St. Mark, we have the spaces that we need to be able to, I mean, there are no limits today on us. Shame on us.
There's no excuses.
That's exactly right. Shame on us if we know there's a need in our parish or in the community, and you need space to either plan it or implement it. We have it. I've told you before, I was asked, do you think we can raise enough money to do this? Because in my former life, that's what I did. I asked people for money for projects, and I always said, I'm not sure. Given the time where we are with
COVID and
the health.
Wasn't the best time.
No, it was not the best time. And to think about what this parish committed to and has made real is an absolutely unbelievable reality for me.
And I was thinking you the same way, and I've heard both of us have said this. God gives us strength by giving us adversity to overcome. And I think when we went from 3.1 to 6.1 or whatever it ended up, that was some great adversity. And the parish, really came together in so many different ways, so many different groups. So I really appreciate, from everyone's end. And once you start looking at this facility and you're looking at volleyball and CYO games and looking at all these different groups using it. Especially, I told Father I was as excited about Schaefer Hall being done as I was the new build. And that's, it's because of the way we revitalized that space.
In its own very special way, it is going to have a similar impact as well.
Absolutely.
The gym for the younger people and the bigger programs.
That even the teachers utilize it for a get-together afterwards. And it's just, there's so many different ways we haven't even thought of.
Well, I think everyone who donated to this campaign should give themselves a little pat on the back in the sense that they've left a legacy for the future. St. Mark has what it means now to be the parish that it wants and needs to be. And, and I think that's a wonderful legacy for the current parishioners to say, pretty well done. You guys did it pretty well.
Well, I appreciate you coming in today. We could talk for hours.
I know.
I don't know what time people would stop listening.
Well, probably 10 minutes. Probably 10 minutes ago. Well, you get two old school administrators together, and
we can just shut the camera off. And keep talking. But I appreciate any special activities for the Advent Christmas season with the family, the Helmichs?
Well, we're very fortunate. All of our three daughters and their husbands and the grandkids all live here on the south side.
Awesome.
And we get to see them. Cindy and I just moved into a smaller house. I will tell everyone that no matter what you think, when you begin to purge, to go from one house that you've lived in, a bigger home, to a smaller, you've never purged enough.
No.
Never enough. And so Cindy Helmich and I are a little tired right now because we've been opening boxes for a few days.
But are you moved in though?
Everything's in the garage
just
or
in
the
time
house.
for Christmas, huh?
Yeah. Now we got to do is find the Christmas stuff.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for coming in again. Look forward to talking to you.
It's a gift to be able to do this. I guarantee you, not every parish does this. And if people don't know, shame on them.
Well, you give an old farm boy a camera, and people say, well, I could talk to you all day. Listen, we hope everybody has a great start to their Advent season. This is in Myanmar. This is called Sweet December.
Oh, really?
The first is when the start of the Advent season. They have lots of sweets and that they celebrate with. So I like those kind of things.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We want to wish everybody a sweet December is watching. We also want to let everybody know that we're keeping all the people around the world, especially all those in Myanmar, going through a lot these last few weeks in our prayers. All those in the Middle East and the Ukraine, we could keep going. But let them know that your relatives and your friends that are over there and our fellow humans and gifts from God are praying for you. So have a great week. We'll talk with you soon. Peace, everybody.
Thanks.